yesterday was a very toughie.
Right, so we're learning Maseches Eruvin, chapter 4. The name of the chapter is Misha Hoitzi'u, and page 52, Nun Bes.
Right.
We'll start with the Mishnah.
You want to read it all the way down to the Mishnah right now?
Misha Yosu Leilech Be'er Shemorim Bo.
Oh, the Mishnah on the other page?
Page Nun Bes,
Oh,
52a1.
I see, okay.
So the Mishnah says, Misha Yosu Leilech Be'er Shemorim Bo. I tell the boys that we're starting. Page, so 52a1. Mishiot, in the Mishnah, one who set out on Friday, Leilech Be'er Shemorim Bo, to travel to another city for which they may make an Eruv. It says in number 9, that is the other city within 4,000 amas of this city, and was accessible on Shabbos to the people of this city only through an Eruv Tchumen placed between the cities. But his friend turned him back, meaning he explained to him why it shouldn't go, and he returned to his original city. Oh, it seems like he actually walked and came back. It says his friend convinced him, for example, that it was too hot or too cold. So he didn't really go. It says, Hu mutar leilech v'chol bnei asurin. He's allowed to go, and the other residents are not allowed to go. All the other townspeople are prohibited from traveling there, since their verbal declaration is not effective. Right? These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir Omer, Kol shu yochel le'orev le'ira v'arei ze chamor gamol. Whoever is able to place an Eruv Techumin and did not do so, but instead verbally declared that he desired his Shabbat residence to be in a place other than his house, he is comparable to Chamar Gamal, which is a donkey driver who is also a camel driver. He is restricted to the area that is within the Techum of his house and the Techum of his designated Shabbos residence. The returning traveler, as well as his fellow residents in the city, are restricted to the area common to both the Techum of the city and that of their declared site of Shabbos residence. Okay. The Gemara obviously will analyze all these cases. The Gemara analyzes Rabbi Yehuda's ruling that the returning traveler succeeds in verbally establishing a Shabbos residence at the designated site, but the other townspeople do not. Why is he different than others? Ma'ishna iu u'ma'ishna inhu. What is the difference between him, the traveler, and them, the other townspeople? Why does his declaration permit him to travel to the other city while their declaration does not? So Amar Ravuna, what are we dealing with? With two houses, and in between them, case a person who has two homes, one in each city, separated by a distance equal to two tchum measures, 4,000 amas. Iu kevan denofak. Now, Iu kevan denofak leileucha. He, since he set out to travel with the intention of reaching his home in the second city, have leoni, is considered to be a poor person, and he may verbally designate his Shabbos residence. But these other townspeople are considered rich people. They are not travelers, since they never set out for the second city. They cannot therefore verbally designate their Shabbos residence. So we learned before two opinions, but one opinion says that a poor person has a little bit more of a leeway. Comes to make a designation on Shabbos, sitting in his house and saying, "This place, I'm going to. That's going to be my residence." Designating residence without even being there, doing it remotely. So it says that a poor person can do it, a rich person not necessarily can do it.
Was that before this mission?
Right. So it says, why is the guy that was set out to go and he didn't end up going, he's allowed to go to another place of his on Shabbos, but the other townspeople are not allowed to go? Why is the Eruv effective for him? The question is why the Eruv is effective for him and not effective for others. Right. So comes the Gemara and tells us that he is considered poor and they are considered rich. He is considered poor and therefore he can go. They're considered. Why is he considered poor? Because in his mind, his house is not here. Poor means that he doesn't have his residence. In his mind, he's somewhere else. The rich people means that they have a place. They have already established residence. He does not have an established residence. Meaning, his place is right now his temporary place because his mind is somewhere else.
When you're traveling, you feel like you don't have a home. You go from hotel to hotel, and just it doesn't feel like you're home. You're not home.
Yeah, the Gemara says, "Tanya nami achi mi sheyesh lo shnei botim shnei tchumei Shabbos." One who has two homes, separated by a distance equal to 2 techum measures, 4,000 amos. As soon as he takes to the road, setting out for his other home, Kono Eruv, he acquires an Eruv. He is viewed as a traveler who can establish a Shabbos residence verbally, without placing food. Div Rabbi Yehuda. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Yosser al Ken Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, said even more than this. Even if his friend met him as he was setting out to travel and said to him, "Lin poi, spend the night here in the city. Eis chamu, eis tzinu. The weather is too hot or too cold to continue traveling." And he followed his advice. On the next day, which is Shabbos day, he may rise and travel to the next city. The Gemara now discusses what additional leniency was stored by Rabbi Yossi, son of Yehuda. Amar Rabbo lo imar kule almo lepligi detzorich, ki pligi leachzik. Everyone, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, his son, agrees that declaring his desired Shabbos residence is necessary in order to establish his Shabbos residence there. Ki pligi leachzik. In what do they disagree? In whether it is also necessary to take the road. According to Rabbi Yehuda, only one who actually set out for the second city is permitted to verbally designate his Shabbos residence. Whereas according to Rabbi Yossi, his son, even one who only planned to travel, but was dissuaded from doing so before he actually set out, convinced him not to do it, is accorded the status of a traveler and may verbally establish a Shabbos residence. We mentioned it yesterday in Shir that sometimes somebody is planning on living to travel somewhere, and for some reason his flight was delayed.
Right.
Even though he's in his place, in his mind, he's somewhere else. He needs to go somewhere. He's not. That's not his residence. He doesn't feel like it's his home.
Right.
You said something else. You said when you're already on the road, you feel like you don't have a home. I'm saying even before going out to the road, the fact that you're in the airport, you're already, and even though a flight was delayed, then you're still in the same town, the same city.
At that point, you're anticipating going.
Your anticipation is like you're there.
But when you get there, and then you're a couple of days, you feel like you should be back home.
But but over here we're talking about the guys have a few houses, a few homes. But anyhow, so the Chidush of Rabbi Yehuda that even if he was planned on going somewhere, planned to travel, he was dissuaded. Whatever is hot, cold, they told him weather is not accommodating, is accorded to the status of a traveler and may verbally establish his Shabbos residence. So in order to establish a Shabbos residence without actually being there, putting an Eruv, you have to be in the status of a poor man or a traveler. A poor man is considered a traveler. Actually, interesting, it says about Avram Avinu, when Hashem says to him, Lech lecha me'artzecho, so Rashi tells us over there that the traveling is diminishing three things.
Right.
So one of the things that diminishes is your sustenance, your livelihood, your money.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're traveling, don't have time to do business now.
Yeah.
You're on vacation or whatever it is. You're not there to do business. So it says over here that traveler is considered a poor man. I thought it was kind of connected with from Avinu. They told him.
Right. The three things about the parnasa, the
Children and the fame and his
right.
people acknowledging him, knowing him, receiving his message, and so on. So everyone agrees that taking to the road is necessary in order for the person to be considered a traveler. Taking to the road means he's already out there, right?
Right.
He's traveling. Keep ligulema. It's like somebody is putting a backpack on his back. At what point are you considered a backpacker, a traveler? A tracker. At what point? At the point that you got into the airport, in your house, you packed the things. Where is it? So over here it says taking to the road is considered a traveler.
I just keep thinking about my last trip before all this crap happened to the Las Vegas and southern Utah and all the places we went.
Right.
Whatever.
Is it Yosemite?
No, we went to Bryce River Canyon and all the parks in southern Utah.
Wow.
And we went to the Grand Canyon, both sides of the Grand Canyon.
Beautiful.
It's
Still do it. Probably
I know,
Utah
and
is.
we went to the shore in Las Vegas.
I don't think Utah would have a lot of infections.
No, it's great there. Whatever.
Keep legalemar. In what do they, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, his son, disagree? In whether declaring his desired Shabbos residence is also necessary. Rabbi Yehuda maintains that it is necessary. Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, however, holds that he acquires a Shabbos residence at the desired location even without a verbal declaration. Imagine, he acquires a Shabbos residence at the desired location even without a verbal declaration, meaning intent alone. Keman ozlo hodama ula. Whose opinion does the following statement of Ula follow? Mishichzik baderech. If one took to the road on Friday to travel to his house in a second city, Chazir Chavero and his friend turned him back, convincing him to delay his trip until the next day. Arei hu muchzar umuchzak. This person is deemed returned and taken to the road. The Gemara seeks to understand Ula's statement, which seemed to be self-contradictory. If he is returned, which implies that he reverts to his original Techum in the first city, then why say that he is taken to the road? He did nothing, which implies that he is still considered a traveler who acquires Shabbos residence on the road without placing an actual Eruv. And conversely, v'muchzar kla muchzar. And if he is deemed taken to the road, why are you calling him muchzar? Which implies, what is muchzar? Which implies, if he is deemed taken to the road, which implies that he is considered a traveler who acquires a Shabbos residence on the road without placing an actual Eruv, why then say that he is muchzar, that he is returned, which implies that he reverts to his original Techum in the first city? Maybe reverting to the original Techum also means that he's getting his previous status, a regular townsman, a resident, not a traveler. It says even though he is completely returned to his original location, he is nevertheless still deemed taken to the road. Like I said about a guy that lost his flight or the flight is delayed.
Yeah.
He is muchzak. to be traveling, that is in a state of a traveler. Keman, whose opinion, Ula's ruling, Ke Rabbi Yosef, Ali with Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda. Follows the opinion of Rabbi Yosef. It follows Rabbi Yosef's interpretation of the ruling of Rabbi Yosef, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, that a traveler who initially set out for his home in the second city acquires a Shabbos residence on the road without a verbal declaration, even though he returned to his original location. Yehuda bar Ishtoso brought a basket of food. To Rav Nosson bar Ushaya on one Friday afternoon. Also, when Rav Yehuda bar Ishtoso was leaving to return to his home, which was within 4,000 amas of his present location, Shav Kadnochis Dago of Nosson bar Ushaya waited until Rav Yehuda bar Ishtoso has descended one step down the stairs, so that he would be considered to have begun his return trip. And then Omar Lei, Rav Nosson bar Ushaya said to Rav Yehuda bar Ishtoso, Bis hocho, stay here overnight, lemocho kodim v'ozil, and go tomorrow. And the next day he rose and went home.
This reminds me of the famous story about the Rabbi and Ariel Sharon with the plane.
Right, told him to stick around for the night.
Yeah.
Keman, Rav Yosef, Rav Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. Does it follow Rav Yosef's interpretation of the view of Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda that anyone who had initially taken to the road in order to travel to a second home establishes his Shabbos residence at the required place on the road without any declaration? The Gemara says, "Lo Rabba v'aliv Rabbi Yehuda." Perhaps he follows Rabba's interpretation of the view of Rabbi Yehuda that one must verbally designate his Shabbos residence as well as take to the road. Perhaps Rabbi Yehuda bar Ishtoso did verbally designate his Shabbos residence, even though the Gemara did not mention this in its account of this incident. Rabbi Meir says anyone who could have placed an Eruv Techumin and did not is comparable to a donkey driver who is also a camel driver. Remember, the way you pull it,
It's different.
Right.
The donkey is in the front.
you must stay within the area common to his original Techum. Amar Rav Sheish lo tema time the Rabbi Meir. Sofek Eirav, Sofek Lo Eirav. Hu da'av chamor gamol. Only there is a comparable to donkey, to a donkey driver who is also a camel driver.